Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? I just want to say, this is Keith. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as the title says, the blame game. That's what it is. Blame game election 2024, right? Part four. So that means I did three more before this. Sorry, three more before this. All right. And it's about the blame game. Uh, why did Kamala Harris lose? According to Nancy Pelosi and others, it was Joe Biden's fault for not dropping out so soon. I just want to say, from one of Nancy Pelosi's former strongest supporters, especially after March 2010 when she passed. Yeah, she was the key instrument to passing the ACA, or the Affordable Care Act, or otherwise known as the Patient Protection and uh, Affordable Care Act, right, into law, in which President, but then Vice President, now President Joe Biden was standing right alongside uh, President Obama, and I think he said it all when it was signed into law. People were like, you make it sound like it's a big deal. He was like, it fucking ain't right, it is, or something like that. Boom. I believe he dropped the F bomb. Boom. And that was it. Nobody said anything. No news coverage after that. That was boom. That was it. So I just want to go on the record saying that what's her name? Nancy Pelosi and all you others. It was not Joe Biden's fault. You don't hear me use profanity. You don't. You might have me describe things, but you don't hear me use profanity. But I'm gonna call bullshit bullshit. Joe Biden was not the fault. Oh no, he dropped out too late. He took too long to drop out of the race. No, that wasn't the problem. And former Speaker of the House, two times former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, yeah, you're the last person. You're the last person. Because, like I said, I was one of your strongest supporters. But you're the last person, the very last person who could ever cast a finger at anybody. Because, like I said, in 2010, March 2010, when the Affordable Care Act was passed, ACA, aka Obamacare, was passed. That's how it was going. Yeah, champagne, maybe somebody was buying, well, take a little poofs in here, there. I don't know about that part, but it was a big deal. And why? Because it was one of the greatest pieces of legislation passed in the last 200 years since Social Security, since the Federal Reserve was passed. One of the greatest pieces of legislation passed. And what happened? You lost my support. When? I'm gonna give you the time frame. That year, that year, when they had elections for House representation, remember what you did? Remember what you did? Let me remind you, but I want to build up this crescendo. You did the same thing that Al Gore did after spending 8 years helping Bill Clinton build up one of the greatest economies ever, rebounding from a fiscal fiasco after 8 years of Ronald Reagan and 4 years of George Herbert Walker Bush. You did the same thing that Hillary Clinton did after 8 years of Barack Obama and Joe Biden and Democrats cleaning up the mess that Republicans left them under George W. Bush. 8 years of George W. Bush and 8 years to get that back on to build up the best economy in 50 years until recently. You did the same thing that Hillary Clinton did. Ran away. The same thing Kamala Harris did after 4 years of cleaning up the mess that Donald Trump and the Republicans left. Ran away from the biggest economy recovery in the last 50 years. It can be argued Obama, Biden, Biden, Harris. But Kamala Harris ran away from that. Did the same thing that you did. You ran away from the Affordable Health Care Act law that you passed, that you helped pass. You played a key significant role in getting passed. You ran away from that, losing my total support. So you can't point the finger at Joe Biden. It wasn't Joe Biden. Joe Biden is not the reason why Kamala Harris lost. Kamala Harris is the reason. And those around her is the reason. Anything else, the blame game. That's all it is. It's a game. It's like those things where you take the shell game. You move it around here, the blame over here, a little blame over the blame, who's the blame, who's the blame, who's the blame. Bam. That's what it came down to. That's what it literally came down to. Garbage. Bullshit. Joe Biden is not to blame. The blame is Kamala Harris, how she ran her campaign. And what's going to happen? She ran away from what has happened. She ran away from, again, like I said, one of the greatest economies in the last 50 years, arguably the greatest economy next to, when you put in perspective, next to Obama, Biden. I think they had a lot more things to deal with. But nevertheless, she ran away from it and tried to reinvent the wheel. She went to grab another wagon. It would have been easier for her to just simply explain this. And I'm going to tell you the deal right now. You set Nancy Pelosi, you set that into motion. You set that into motion. Because you didn't want to listen to people like me. Kamala Harris didn't want to listen to people like me. For the last 4 years, last 3 years, I've been saying this. Actually, for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, for the last 8 years, I've been saying this repeatedly. Donald Trump inherited President Obama's Biden economy. Just a few weeks ago, a couple months ago, when President Obama came onto the campaign trail to speak, to help her out, what did he say? After almost 2 weeks to a month into helping out, he goes, yeah, it was a good economy. It was my economy. You should have been saying that 8 years ago. Yes, 8 years ago. At least 4 years ago, when they was talking about how the Donald Trump, the Trump economy was great. It was your economy. You should have been saying that. President Obama, you should have been saying that 8 years ago. Definitely 4 years ago. And definitely for the last 2 years, you should have been saying that. Explaining to people how inflation works. And here's how you know it is Kamala Harris' fault for losing this election. Here's how you know. And I'm not saying this out of anger. I'm saying this because I'm a little ticked off. I am. I'm a little ticked off. I supported her. But here's the reality. Come, what, January 20th, Inauguration Day, they're going to inaugurate Donald Trump. Come January 21st, he's going to take credit for everything that the Biden-Harris economy, the Biden-Harris administration did for the last 4 years. He's going to take credit for it. So if he could take credit for it, why couldn't she run on it? It would have been easier to keep explaining to people, and so the people could understand that, hold up, unemployment rates for the minorities and black folk in general is at an all-time historical low. You know who's going to get credit for that? Because it's still trending? Donald Trump. Everything. Passing of the medication decrease, capping off medication, giving all that, Donald Trump, because that was my idea from the beginning. Yeah, it was. He's going to take credit for everything. You can't say nothing. And here's why you can't say nothing. Because to the victor, goes the spoils. Now, I just want to say that and make it clear. The blame for this is not Joe Biden. It's not his fault that Kamala Harris, the nominee who he supported and who he gave the opportunity to step into the record books for being the first woman vice president. Yeah, historical. She botched it. You botched it. Y'all botched it. So no, y'all don't get to blame Joe Biden, President Joe Biden for Vice President Kamala Harris lost. She lost it. She lost it because she followed you. I could tell that you use your practices because she stepped away from it. Just like you ran away from the Affordable Care Act. Remember that? When you lost me as one of your biggest supporters? Huh? You remember that? You ran away from it and you left hundreds of House Democrats out in the lurch. You did. You did. You did it. And with that, I'm going to call this a wrap.